It's always better to write what you know. If you expect your listener to be a witness to something, shouldn't you be almost like a journalist who experienced that thing as well? You got to pull them in deep, deep, deep into whatever you're writing about. Even if it's something that's outside of your life, like obviously we all have a lot of loves in our lives, kids, marriages, girlfriends, boyfriends. And a journal like this is always a great place to keep track not only of your songs, but things that happen that are important in your life as song generating kind of ideas. For example, when my father passed away, he was up in Maine, and I got to say goodbye to him, but I couldn't bring my family up there. It was too quick to organize everybody around it, so I went up by myself and I said my goodbye, and he passed away over the course of a weekend, but I got to see him and say goodbye. When I got home, my daughter asked me, she was 5 at the time, where did Papa go when he died? And so I had a conversation with her that was really personal, and the first real profound conversation I had ever had with her in my life. And I had to explain to her what the afterlife was in all of the world's religions that I knew. And then I had to explain to her that some people don't even believe there is one, and that some people believe we just turn into dust, stardust, so to speak. And I did write that song, and because I love my daughter and the moment was so moving to me personally, it became a springboard for a really, really great song. And that's because I lived it, I was a witness to it, and I love the subject matter, I love the people involved in it. And because of that, the investment was more profound for me. And I think the investment in the audience when they hear a song like that becomes more profound as well. Sometimes, you might want to write a song about Abraham Lincoln, Ben Franklin, or some historical character, which is also fine. We'll talk more about that in a bit. You have to know those characters like the back of your hand, and you have to know a piece of them personally that you see in them, that you see in yourself. I think you need to love them for that thing. And it has to be personal. Almost every song that you write has to be personal, because the personal side of it is what makes the believability so great for the listener's ears. So keep that in mind. Oftentimes, to help generate ideas, I do free writing exercises for 10 minutes. And I'll write, for example, for this last album, I wrote down 100 days of my life that were important. I think we've talked about this, that brought scars or smile lines. And take one of those. I'd like you to do it right now. Write down an important day in your life and then free write about it for 10 minutes. And see if you can find within that context of the writing, where you're free writing, which means you're not editing and thinking, you're just basically not picking the pen up from the page, and see if you can't find one little piece of lyric within that body of work in the next 10 minutes. So that's your exercise. Your assignment for this section, Write What You Know, is to dive into your biography with free writing exercises for 10 minutes. And what I'm asking you to do here is simply put your pen on a piece of paper and write journal style without lifting the pen from the paper, without trying to create any intentional rhyming or editing or a storyline. I just want you to spew ideas and create a flow. You're tapping into the ether of your life and your memory bank. And I want you to write about like your first kiss, your father's last words if he passed away, what your favorite artist has maybe built for you, as far as like who would that be? If it's the Beatles, write for 10 minutes without thinking about all the effect this music has had on you. A day in your life. Think about one day in your life and write about that for 10 minutes straight. What will happen is an internal rhyme situation will come flowing out of your mouth. You'll see assonance, which is the repetition of vowel sounds. You'll see consonants, which is the repetition of consonant sounds. And this phrasing, this magical phrasing that will happen naturally, is how we form thoughts and sentences and memories and expressing them. And it's like internal unconscious poetry, and it's going to fall onto your page. And it's very likely that every single page that you write will have at least one phrase that you might be able to use as a song or a stepping board to a song. So free write about your personal life, your first kiss, someone's last words to you, their last goodbye, who your favorite artist and their effect on what your life is, a day in your life, and also choose what your work is outside of music. I want you to write for 10 minutes on that. So those are 5 ideas. You only need to do one now, but in the meantime, as you're writing other songs, you might come back and do the other 4. But do one of those for 10 minutes.